I am Mike Chambers, and I'm with the Cricket Hall of Fame in Hartford, Connecticut, USA. And we are recording a series of videotapes from the book Winning Strokes. We started out investigating the four pillars of success. What does it take to become a successful individual in life? The question was asked, how do we define success? We can say success is the end result of a process. The process must result in us obtaining a desired outcome or an expected outcome from the process. We must set out to obtain or attain a certain goal. If we attain the goal, then we say we are successful at what we did. So at the end of our effort, we must show a desired outcome or a result that we were expecting. Sometimes the expected outcome might be greater than what we were hoping for. That's success, greater than. But it shouldn't be less than what we were expecting. If the outcome is less than what we were expecting, then we might want to say we were not very successful, but we can still use the word success as long as we get an outcome which was close to what we were looking for. The automobile mechanic, if successful, must deliver a working automobile and have fixed the problem, and the owner of the automobile must be satisfied with the job done, and you rate satisfaction by the fact that the owner is now willing to pay whatever the auto mechanic charges for the job he did. So we say a batsman at the end of his innings must have scored a formidable amount of runs. A bowler must have taken a number of wickets. And to seal success, the batsman who made his runs must find himself on the team that won the game. That is a little extra for the batsman. He scored runs, was his job. Now he's playing on a team, the team wins. Now that's extra, that's gravy on the success. So the end result must be what was expected. Emotional intelligence is another pillar of success. We spoke about mindfulness training, and we spoke about visualization training. The third pillar, emotional intelligence. And then we said, once you finish doing your training, you should make it a practice once a year to sit down with a psychiatrist, psychologist, and go over your year's achievements and talk about any mental, cognitive problems that you are facing. Because each of us during our lifetime will be faced with traumatic experiences which will result in some form of post-traumatic or complex traumatic disorder developing in us. We must exercise our mind, and we must do physical training. So we must train the mind and we must train the body, the muscles. Both go hand in hand. Some of us have not actually trained our minds since birth. We've trained our muscles, and so yes, we are physically capable of running a mile, running 2 miles, walking up the stairs. The person who does no physical exercise will have difficulty trying to run a mile or lifting 20 pounds, doing his or her exercise. That's physical limitations. If you don't exercise, then you have physical limitations. You cannot walk or run a mile. It's difficult. It's the same thing with exercising your mind. No exercise, you will function, but you will not be functioning at your maximum capacity. And that's why we are seeing all these problems in the world today with COVID shutting us down, everybody staying home. Our minds became double frustrated, not being exercised. And so emotional intelligence as a vehicle to exercise the mind, mindfulness, another pillar, and visualization. All three must be used if we want to have a very successful life cycle. We say mindfulness is our ability to train the mind to be fully aware of what is happening in the now moment. So we say mindfulness is our ability to function in the now. We're not looking at the past and we're not looking at the future. We are looking at what we are doing right now. We are concentrating on the task at hand. Visualization is when we focus on an event and we pretend as if we have actually accomplished our end results that we were looking for. So in visualization, we are focusing on an event. We are not actually doing the event. We are imagining ourselves. We are in our minds imagining doing the event. For example, I am here on this beautiful beach. I am visualizing the sea. I'm looking how rough it is. I'm looking how warm the waters are. I'm looking at the coconut tree. The problem with that is I am actually sitting in my living room doing this exercise. The more I envision myself on the beach, my subconscious is recording it and it's playing back to the conscious that maybe we should head for the beach. So I know before the summer gets back, this is early January, I will be on a beach because of what I am seeing sitting here in front of my screen. If we want to score 100 runs, we have to be able to sit in bed, sit at a comfortable location, do a couple deep breathing exercise to calm your mind, and then concentrate at playing an innings. Concentrate for a number of minutes, batting, with the bowler running up, You see where the ball is pitched and you make your stroke, you make your shot. All those coming out of your subconscious mind, because in previous meditation, in previous visualization exercises, you would have practiced to be batting to a bowler, pace bowler, spin bowler, leg break, off break, but you would have made all those choices. So now selected into your, implanted into your subconscious are all these strokes you will be making. The bowler bowls, you decide to rotate the strike, so you push for a single. Now it is important. We say two batsmen at the wicket who are trained in mindfulness, mind power, and visualization should never get out. They should never get out, run out, because they would have, for a number of sessions, looked at different shots, looked at different places where the ball would go, and would have measured how much time it would take and how successful the fielder would be to run them out. Visualization, mindfulness, and now emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is you being able to judge your emotions, to accept the emotions you are going through, and at the same time, be able to discern the other person's emotions. That is, I'm at the wicket batting with another player, I should have summed up his emotions. Is he sad? Is he happy? Is he willing to take risk today? Can we take short singles? So your emotional intelligence would have helped you store up in your subconscious different plays that you have exercised during your lifetime as a batsman. Those are all stored up. And so now you can draw on those emotional reactions. How do I take a single? Do I take a short single? Is it safe? Emotional intelligence is how you process or understand your own emotions, how you understand your emotions or your feelings. You might say emotions, your feelings, and how you process or understand other people's emotions. You must be able to understand why you react to a certain external stimulus or a certain internal stimulus. You must be able, somebody says something, some harsh words to you. You must be able to discern how you're going to react to those words from past experience. You must have learned, somebody says something and you got very upset. Over the years, over time, you should be able to process whatever was said to you and tell yourself, the next time John says these words to me, this is how I will react. This is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to do. So you visualize that. You put that into your subconscious by doing it over and over again. Remember, repetition imprints to the subconscious. Any habit, any thought that you save in your subconscious, you keep in your conscious, gets implanted in the subconscious and will be acted upon later on in life. It's very important that we know good habits, good reactions to different stimulus. You should also be able to analyze how other people will react to certain stimulus. It's important that if you're the captain of a team, you're at the wicket batting, you should know how the other batsman reacts to taking a short single. You should know when you give a bowler, you're the captain, and you says, come on, John, your time to bowl. You walk up to him, you tell him what you want him to bowl. Both of you should be able to understand each other's emotions, what's going on, the stage of the game, and how to react. In order to be a successful leader, one must be able to understand his, her emotions in the moment, understand the emotions of his or her teammates, and use the emotional information to guide his or her behavior and how he or she will think to influence the teammates' reactions and behavior and thinking. Emotional intelligence is to be knowledgeable, emotional intelligent is to be knowledgeable about the emotions of self and others. We can assess the level of one's emotional intelligence by having them fill out, by asking certain questions and observing a person's behavior. So it's important that you can evaluate your emotional intelligence and you can determine another person's emotional intelligence level. We all have the ability to answer questions. Goldman's definition of the 5 elements of emotions are as follows: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. So Goldman, the psychologist, defines 5 elements of emotional intelligence. 5 elements of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. What is self-awareness? Self-awareness is your ability to recognize and understand one's emotion. So self-awareness, you are able to understand what stimulus will cause what sort of reaction out of you. So you have to understand yourself. Self-regulation. Not only should you be able to recognize and understand one's emotion, we must also be able to express, regulate, and manage how we react to certain stimuli. Motivation. People with high emotional intelligence quotient are self-motivated from within, driven by internal stimuli. External rewards such as wealth, fame, respect are not considered by a highly motivational person with a high emotional intelligence quotient. Empathy. Empathy is our ability to understand how other people are feeling and be able to put yourself in that person's position. You do not sympathize or validate the person's feelings or behavior. So empathy is not being willing to evaluate, sympathize, or validate. It is your ability to be able to see things from the other person's perspective. So empathy, EMPATHY, empathy is you being able to see through the eyes of another person what they are experiencing. And social skills, these are the skills that allow persons to communicate with each other and be able to fit into society. So your social skills will allow you to operate in a circle. Your social skills will allow you to react favorably with your teammates. There are 4 dimensions to the IQ, emotional intelligence. 4 dimensions that we have to master. We must be aware of and recognize and identify emotions in other people. Recognize other people's state, physical or psychological state. Physical, you must be able to see a person and realize whether or not they're in pain. Psychological, you must be able to see if they are sad or if they are happy, their emotional state. So perception, perceiving, is the ability to be able to determine if someone is in a physical or psychological pain, physical pain or psychological pain, and must be able to express one's own emotions and needs or feelings accurately, and do this in an appropriate way and in a timely manner. One must be honest and accurate when you are making these evaluations. On the emotional relationship, under emotional relationships between various emotions, perceive the cause of the emotion. In other words, if somebody is having a bad day, not feeling good, sad, you should be able, you yourself feeling sad, you should be able to determine what is causing this effect. And the last dimension, managing the emotions. You must be able to discern pleasant or unpleasant feelings to decide how to engage a personal or an acquaintance's emotional status. You must be able to engage what is happening, the event, the emotions, but you shouldn't be judging the emotion. You shouldn't be saying, well, this person shouldn't be, this shouldn't be, I shouldn't be. You should be able to just observe the emotion and apply some form of consideration to what's happening. I see why John is acting up today because I just found out he lost his mom. That's a good reason to be sad. What are some of the characteristics of people with high emotional intelligence or emotional quotient? These people are not afraid of challenges, understand challenges to be a part of everyday life. They know themselves, what they are good at, what they enjoy doing, and they easily relate to other people. And they enjoy turning out excellent performances. They are always happy and express gratitude to their fellow teammates or their fellow workers. Never distracted from their task at hand. They're always focused. They are open-minded and listen well to all sides of an issue. Low emotional intelligence. How do we identify these people? These people cannot control their emotions. They don't understand their emotions or other people's emotions and cannot enjoy a relationship with other people. They lack empathy and they always have a poker face. They're never smiling. The question then becomes, how do we teach or learn emotional intelligence? We can learn or improve emotional intelligence by applying our mindfulness training, or what we say, apply our mindful meditation training to improve our emotional state. If we are entertaining stress or distress or depression, we know that mindfulness meditation, by applying our constant, our conscious deep breathing skills, will help to eliminate anxiety, stress, and distress. We must be able to enhance our self-awareness and apply our self-regulating techniques. We should observe our personal behavior, social habits, and watch what we say to other people. Always be aware of your personal moods and the emotional state of other persons. If we are going to be successful, we must be able to apply all three techniques or training processes: mindfulness, visualization, and emotional intelligence. So we must be able to be mindful of the environment we are in. We must have visualized, looked at what can happen in that environment. If you observe your own behavior, for example, if you realize that in an environment you're always seeking attention for everything you do, then you must understand that's a bad habit, that's a bad trait. And so you have to do whatever it takes to curb that reaction. So we are saying to evaluate ourselves, to identify weaknesses, and then correct these weaknesses. This is how we improve our emotional intelligence value, how our emotional intelligence goes up. We should keep a journal and record events, how we react to certain stimulus, and what stimulus causes you to have a terrible response. Someone walks in and says something, how do you react? So you write that down. So if you had a good reaction, you record that. So the next time you do the same thing. If you had a terrible reaction to what the person says, you write it down and you now have the ability to talk to your conscious and subconscious mind to help to weed out this bad habit, this bad reaction. It is said that if you improve your emotional intelligence skills, you will be able to be a successful captain or lead a successful workforce. So we can conclude, or in concluding our conclusion, we can say emotional intelligence is the ability to know oneself very well, be able to manage other people's emotions, and also be able to determine the emotional needs of yourself and others. We spoke about the 5 elements of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, and empathy. In order to increase our emotional intelligence quotient, we must practice observing ourselves and doing the corrections to make sure that we react favorably to certain stimulus. Social skills, we say, it tells us or it determines how we manage disputes, how we communicate, and how we develop relationships between one another. So we also said, look at your work environment, see how you perform, and see how you can make your performance better. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how we approach being successful in life, how we deal with mindfulness, emotional intelligence, we've just completed, visualization, and the final step, the pillar number 4, post-traumatic stress disorder, we will talk about on the next tape. Thanks for attending this sitting.